planting a hidden camera in a bathroom. 45-year-old Mauricio Morales is facing 11 counts of interfering with privacy by installing a secret device. A man reported finding something strange in a VA bathroom trash can in late February and saw a mini camcorder fall to the floor. Environmentalists are blasting the Trump administration after a study on copper-nickel mining near the BWCA was dropped from a federal spending bill just before Twin Metals is expected to formally submit its plan for a mine near Ely. Former DNR Commissioner Tom Landwehr now with the group Save the Boundary Waters.
Trump administration has corrupted the environmental process to force this project on Minnesota for political reasons, overlooking the science. And Minnesota's elected leaders are now the people who have to decide what to do.
Landwehr is asking the Walz administration to deny key permits for Twin Metals because the Trump administration is withholding information that likely shows the project will endanger the BWCA. But 8th District Congressman Pete Stauber says opponents of Twin Metals are completely disregarding the livelihoods of his constituents and the needs of the nation. And state health officials predict the number of flu outbreaks in Minnesota schools will be up significantly when the latest weekly numbers come out Thursday. This is M&N.
I was feeling so alone.
I was going through a really difficult time.
I didn't want to bother anyone.
I didn't think they'd understand.
It was tough at first, but I did it.
I'm glad I asked for help.
I asked my teacher.
I asked my dad.
You can do this.
Whatever it is, ask for help.
If you're thinking about suicide or need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. Ask for help.
In ag, new isn't always useful. The Winfield United Advanced Acre Prescription Program is. Follow the plan, get 95% of your APH, or get money back. Learn about this limited release program at winfieldunited.com. See agreement for more details. Target percentage of APH varies by plan.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. Now it's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Better Business Bureau is cautioning parents and caregivers when it comes to buying internet-connected smart toys this holiday season.
We're seeing that some of these smart toys, are collecting personal information like names or email addresses from the children that are using them.
The BBB's Bess Ellenson urges consumers to do their research about smart toys before buying them, and she says be sure to read the company's privacy policy on data collection practices. The State Department of Labor and Industry is reporting a 25% decline in fatal workplace injuries in Minnesota last year. There were a total of 75 fatal work injuries in Minnesota in 2018, down from 101 in 2017. A Renville County man is sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for running over and killing his roommate in July of 2017. 39-year-old Russell Duquette of Franklin was convicted of manslaughter in the death of Randy Oletsky. This is M&N.
Looking for that perfect holiday gift? Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards make fun and fabulous gifts for everyone on your list. Because what's better than a fantastic night out with dinner and your choice of holiday shows? A tribute concert, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or main stage Broadway musicals like Mamma Mia. And coming up next, The Music Man. Available in any amount, Chanhassen gift cards never expire and are sure to be used and loved. And easy. Call or visit chanhassendt.com. Chanhassen Dinner Theaters, always entertaining you.
Are you or your aging loved one looking for a place to call home? With wellness and activity programming and personalized care, you can live the active and socially focused lifestyle you enjoy at Riverfront Manor. Move into Riverfront Manor before February 15th and choose your first month of rent free, your moving expenses paid, or $50 off each month of rent for the first year in your new home. Schedule your tour today at 218-863-1133 or learn more at PelicanValleySeniorLiving.org.
Live from the KDLM studios, it's time for Hodge Podge with Carol McCarthy, presented by Partnership for Health.
Welcome to Hodge Podge, this 18th day of December 2019. And today in the studio, we've got Becker County Administrator Mike Brethorst, and he is going to talk about give us some highlights of 2019 as we wind down 2019. We had the last Becker County Board of Commissioner meeting yesterday, and lots happening in the county, as we heard outgoing Chairman John Okeson talk about in his State of the County address. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. It is great to be here on another chilly day here in the Lakes Country, that's for sure.
We cannot avoid that, unfortunately. But things are going to get better this weekend, so... Anyway, we'll talk about some of the things going on in Becker County, Mike. One of the main things in December, this time of year, is the setting of the budget for 2020 and the property tax levy, which we have some good news for citizens of Becker County. And
we do
slight increase.
So the county as a whole, I mean, we're here because of the people. You know, it's our job to provide the quality services at the most affordable prices that we can do it. And so our commissioners gave staff a very clear directive. Mike, I want you to develop a budget and try to keep it within that 3%. Because 3% is kind of a reasonable expectation for growth and adjustments. So we were able to do that. We actually came in at 2.99%. But overall, I mean, the county is healthy. We're in a great position here. I walked into a great organization that has some great department heads, very dedicated elected and appointed officials that allow us to be able to manage these departments in such a way that we're able to provide that. So, but bottom line is that we were able to adjust our levy by only $600,000. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I mean, I understand that. But when you talk about the size of our organization, which is, about $58 million organization, for this budget year, and that includes some capital items and so on, but still, that's a big budget. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to do that with that 2.99%. We do have some other great accomplishments over the year. We were able to maintain a AA+ bond rating, which is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Counties our size generally don't have that positive of a bond rating.
So just stop right there. What is the bond rating used for?
Well, bond rating is used for other investments. So it's like that's like your personal your FICA score. Mm-hmm. Your personal your the amount of money that you can get at what percent of an interest rate. And so because of ours, we have a really high FICO score in regards to the governmental entities. So that's a good thing for us, and we've been able to maintain that because of our operations.
Okay, Mike Brethorst from Becker County Administrator in the office, in the studio with us this morning. I guess we could call it the office this morning, talking about the budget and tax levy for 2020. The property tax levy will be just under 3% increase, and of course, you went over the budget. You made some adjustments since your Truth and Taxation hearing last week. You made a few adjustments to expenditures yesterday.
Yeah, and the reason that is because we had some changes that just occurred through the Finance Committee and trying to make sure that we're prepared for the future. And so specifically, we are trying to utilize our fee-based programs to fund some other program, to fund some future expenditures, such as our obligation to support the museum if and when that bonding bill passes and if we get this new museum. We want to make sure that we're ready and prepared for that. So we had to realign some of our funding, specifically for some staffing. We were using some fee-based operations to pay for some staffing, and we need to get away from that so we can prepare for this $1 million contribution if that becomes a reality. So what we did is the county is growing a little bit, and we have to keep up with the modern operations of governance. And so specifically, we are going to be expanding our GIS department. And so we're going to be converting a part-time GIS position into a full-time GIS position just because the realities of it. And it's amazing what it costs to convert part-time into full-time. And so that's very sensitive in how we do that, and we're very deliberate in that process. And so we had to do that. So we were able to split that up through a couple different funds to make that become a reality. So that was the reality. The other big change that happened from our Truth and Taxation date, which was last Thursday, to yesterday, was about $100,000 expense that just popped up on us. We had an idea that what this is relating to, it's $100,000 expense relating to our housing of juveniles. Basically when they go to juvie. And so we partner with the West Central Correctional Facility in Moorhead, and we have a 2-year look-back program. Because we were very active in the operations of that last year, meaning that we had to house a number of more children, we have a look back. So what we used in services last year, well, we have to pay for this year. So we're always looking back 1 year. So because of that, our operational costs had to go up by over $100,000.
Wow.
So that was a big surprise for us, and we had to flex to be able to make that reality without it, because we cannot adjust the levy any more than our 2.99%.
Right. Well, that brings up another question, beyond the payment of it. Are we looking into the juvenile situation? I mean, it's apparent that juvenile crime has gone up.
Yeah. Well, juvenile crime has gone up, as well as the realities of out-of-home placements with our Health and Human Services program. So that's why we want to partner. And so we're always looking at creative ways and solutions to work with our community action programs, the CAP program, Mahubi Atwa programs. We're looking at our Health and Human Services programming. We're looking at any type of partnership. Our rural SEP programs that are out there to help people find jobs and keep people employed, to also working with our school district, because if you have a successful school district, you ultimately have less demands on these correctional facilities programming.
All right. Mike Brethorst in the studio with us this morning from Becker County Administrator, talking about the 2020 budget and tax levy that was set, approved by commissioners yesterday at their final meeting for 2019. And incidentally, Mike, after the meeting yesterday, I had a chance to go to SJ Rhombus. There was a Minnesota Chamber was there, and they were talking to manufacturers, and manufacturers were talking about the very thing, about the workforce situation and all these factors that figure into, they have an employment gap, workforce gap. So in 2020, I guess we will make the effort on the radio station or in the media here to talk more about some of those issues, and maybe help them out any way we can.
Well, and that's what we need to do, is we need to prepare our children, as well as our, the people in transition, for other programming needs, so we can keep them working and keep them employed and keep them in stable housing.
And keep them in Becker County.
Exactly.
Detroit Lakes.
Exactly. And that's kind of a good caveat in regards to the growth in the county. Since I started here only 9 months ago, I was really trying to understand, the size of the county. You have, this is such a diverse county. You have lakes country, you have ag country, you have Indian country. I mean, it's all, there's so many different variables here that we have in Becker County. And just our county alone, we've seen consistent, continual growth. And I look back here at our statistics for the county, and we have seen we've seen a lot of housing developments be occurring over the past couple of years. Last year, we had 47 new parcel splits. So what that means is you get mom and dad, they want to subdivide their property and build another house or sell that. That happened 47 times last year in the county, then 128 times the year before that. And it goes up and down between the economic, fluctuations there. But on average, we've been seeing anywhere between 60 to 70 new parcel splits in the county each year. So, and that's a good thing. And when you start looking at the real realities of people building homes and or just subdividing parcels, so that's some good stuff. The other thing too is that the overall growth in the county. That was one thing that really surprised me. I didn't realize how much growth you've had when I was talking just those numbers, that 67 new builds or 47 new builds.
Right.
Well, what does that actually mean? So I looked back in the actual numbers. I worked with our county assessor and our recorder's office, and since 2008 to 2019, we have averaged over $60 million in new construction growth. That's average each year. We had a couple downturns during 2010 to 2013, but that was only down to $44 million. So, and then this past 2 years, get this, Carol. This is amazing to me, and it's kind of exciting. From 2018 to 19, we've seen average growth of $77.9 million to $83 million in growth.
Wow.
In the county. And so why is that important? Because the more homes that are built, the more commercial businesses that are built, that creates a bigger pie. And so what that pie turns into is directly relates into people's property taxes.
Right.
So another interesting fact is that if you were to come into Becker County, because of all this fun growth that we've had, exciting growth that we've had, you see an estimated market value. So if somebody comes and says, Mike, I want to buy your house, Well, you have an estimated market value, right? And so then you have your neighbor's property and your other neighbor's property. So if somebody came in today and said, hey, Mike, I want to buy Becker County. Right now, Becker County is worth just over, what was it here? I want to say it's $7 billion.
Nice.
So, yeah, so it's amazing. And that's not including Tamarack Reserve or anything, land like that. But this is just the commercial built-up. And so you've been seeing this growth continually over the years from 2009, which is only about $5.3 billion, to today at $7 billion. So I try to put these things into perspective so people can understand on what that growth is. And how that relates to us, it's your tax rate.
Right.
And Becker County has one of the lowest tax rates in the state of Minnesota. I heard one statistic from one of our commissioners saying that Becker County was number 17 of the 87 counties in the state of Minnesota for low tax rate for the county itself now. And so when you look at the area counties, and there's nothing wrong, none of the other counties are doing anything different, but if you take all the counties surrounding us, Becker County is the lowest. And that's just because of the way that we operate here and because we have this diverse economy and this large pie to be able to divvy up these resources that we need.
All right. Mike Brethorst, a Becker County administrator in the studio with us this morning. Before we go to break too, Mike, with those statistics too, are all those statistics as far as our tax base goes and the growth, does that include, is that all full-time residents, or is that, people building cabins, coming and going from Fargo?
That's everything.
That's everything.
Yeah, that's everything.
All right.
Becker County has roughly a population of 36,000. And that's been growing over the years, and you can just see that when you look around. And we just need to keep that reality, because without that growth, things become stagnated and it becomes harder.
Now, will there be a look at? I know the city of Detroit Lakes has looked at the vacation rental properties, and I know that's kind of coming down the pipe in a number of area counties around us. I'm thinking of specifically of Otterdale County, but is Becker County going to look into that as well, the vacation rental stuff?
We're actually required under the Department of Revenue. The Department of Revenue has directed that the county sends out surveys to properties that have vacation rentals. And because of that, we need to determine if the house is actually a true commercial entity or if it's a residence. And there's some math that goes into that, and some, how often is it being used and who's using it. And that's where our county assessors and our local assessors need to make sure that they understand what those changes are. And if it is a true commercial, well, it needs to be tax commercial, because that's the right thing to do.
All right. We'll talk more with Mike Brethorst, Becker County Administrator, after a quick break on Hodge Podge this Wednesday morning.
Do-Rate Construction in Detroit Lakes. At Do-Rate, we do it all and we do it right. As the fall weather arrives and winter around the corner, it is time for winterizing your home. Do you need added insulation in your attic or crawl space? Do your garage doors or entry doors have gaps that let in light, rain, cold air, snow, or leaves? We can help. We are an authorized dealer of Sturt Stoppers, the ultimate garage door seal. Give us a call at 218-234-1095. We provide quality and reliable service because you deserve nothing less. At Do-Rate Construction, we do it all and we do it right.
Did you know that heating your home makes up the majority of your total energy bill? Wild Rice Electric offers programs that can help reduce those costs. Wild Rice Electric offers off-peak heating rates that are less than half the cost of the general service rate. If the polar vortex hit you hard last winter, see how you can prepare for this heating season. Contact our member service department today at 800-244-5709. Wild Rice Electric, sharing the power since 1939.
Hey, Elvira, have you gotten all your Christmas shopping done yet?
Well, I have 2 presents left to buy, and then I am done. How about you, Hazel?
Oh, well, I only bought 2 so far, but I have a lot left. Should we go to town and eat at Main Street and then finish up our shopping?
I think that's a great idea. Shirley's Biscuits and Gravies are calling my name.
Oh, Elvira, I know.
Become a regular at Main Street Restaurant, downtown Detroit Lakes.
This portion of the program is brought to us by First Security Bank in Detroit Lakes. First Security Bank is different than other banks when it comes to personal service. You walk in the door, instantly get greeted with a smile. The entire staff knows you by name. First Security Bank really makes a difference when it comes to banking because of that personal service, which means that they actually know their customers. So if you're ever in need of a home loan, car loan, construction loan,
Sometimes it's as easy as a phone call and an approval within an hour. Don't worry, if you're a new customer, you'll become an old friend real soon. First Security Bank in Detroit Lakes, where your bank really does make a difference. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
True story. A few years ago, I gave my husband a new camera for Christmas. When he wanted to take a picture of me, I wouldn't let him. I couldn't stand the thought of having my picture taken because I was just too fat. I avoided cameras like the plague. Sound familiar? You know, it's really not our fault. We did what conventional dieting told us to do. But what they told us didn't work. The fat came back. Hi, I'm Zola from PlanZDiet.com. I got so sick of diets that don't work that I decided I was going to have to design my own diet. I call it Plan Z. Here's what Plan Z does that others don't. A, it works, and it works fast. On Plan Z, the average dieter loses 31 pounds in under 50 days. Who wants to mess around with 1 or 2 pounds a week? And B, you eat real food. No packaged or frozen foods, no drinking a meal from a can. At the end of the diet, you'll find that you have a new metabolism too, and you can eat without gaining it back. That's a major bonus. There's plenty more to explain, so check out Plan Z at PlanZDiet.com.
The tobacco industry's business model. Step 1, get them young. Nearly all smokers start by age 18. Step 2, make them lifelong customers. Over half will die from smoking. Step 3, find replacement smokers. Step 4, repeat. Step 1.
The tobacco industry will stop at nothing to get kids addicted. But if kids don't start, smoking stops. Learn how to help at stopthestartmn.com. Brought to you by Clearway, Minnesota.
Now, back to Hodge Podge with Carol McCarthy on KDLM Detroit Lakes.
Welcome back to Hodge Podge this Wednesday morning, back in the studio with Mike Brethorst from Becker County Administrator, and talking about looking back at 2019 and some of the things that were accomplished by department. John Okeson, outgoing chairman of the board, gave his State of the County address and highlighted some of the things going on in each department. So.
Right, and so with our highway department, you know, this is really where this is truly one of our strengths in the county is our highways and our roads that we have here. Last year, and the way that we're able to do that, let me start there. The way that we're able to do that is with our smart tax money. So that's money that we pay. Everybody pays around here in regards to a small percentage on each of their sales that they purchase. And so with that, we're able to generate over $2.5 million. And because of that, we're able to expand some of our road projects that we wouldn't historically be able to do, or we'd have to really delay them out. So with our sales tax money and our state aid dollars that we get, as well as our general levy dollars, we did over $7.5 million of roads last year. You know, that is over 22 miles of pavement. And we also have resurfaced over 4 miles of bituminous overlay, so tarred. We retarred some stuff over 4 miles. So that's 26 miles of roads in the county there that we did with that. In 2020, we are projected to do over $11 million worth of projects. And so, I mean, it's a big year for our highway department. And so we're working very hard to make sure that we have the resources and we plan for it. And so now that these dollars are there, we need to spend them accordingly to make sure that the roads are done and upkept the way we want them to be. So.
One of those projects coming up, is that included in 2020 or is this 2021, the Westlake Drive?
Well, we're working on that. Okay. We're trying to work through some constituent concerns that they have for right-of-way. So our county attorney, as well as our highway department, as well as the city, are working very diligently to communicate with them, to talk to the residents about that Westlake Drive project, how we can make that project become a reality and be a win-win for everybody. It's tough. It's change. But that project, it's planned as of right now for 2020. But it may be delayed another year depending on how negotiations go with some of the property owners.
All right. Mike Brethorst, Becker County Administrator, in the studio with us this morning, recapping some of the highlights from 2019 in county departments. One of those other partnerships, of course, or one of the things that you were looking at in 2019 was the building of a new public works facility. I know talks were in the works with the Detroit Lakes, but are we moving ahead with that facility?
We are. We actually, Becker County is having we have a staff meeting with a couple of our commissioners to go over what's called a request for proposals to hire on a consultant to assist us with this, with the design work, and to making sure that we can design this building in such a way that's very cost effective. Because it's somewhat in our wheelhouse to be able to do design build type stuff, but when it gets to this level and this size of a project, we need to have some outside help. And so that's what we're doing right now is we are looking at hiring a contractor to help us with that. And then we will start the design work and hopefully get moving here within the next 12 months on that project. We are looking at a shared compound with the city. We've kind of come to an understanding of what that could look like. But the facility itself, the actual physical structure, we will most likely have two separate physical structures, but we'll still have the same campus. We'll have shared fuel stations, maybe even a shared car wash type facilities needs within that operations, and then some shared storage. So there is some positives there.
Okay. And another area, of course, the Sheriff's Department. We have the finalization of the jail, the opening of the new jail in 2019, earlier this year.
Yes, it is a wonderful facility. If you want to call the jail a wonderful facility, but it's we're operating, and we are in such a way that we are providing a safe and secure environment for these inmates now, as directed by the state, and our commissioners are dedicated to making sure that continues. Sheriff Glander and Paula Peterson and the staff out there are working diligently to make sure that this new facility is the new normal. And so we're trying to make sure that we have all our new operational guidelines. And when you build something new like this and you have all those new state guidelines to maintain, you have to follow them. And so that's what we're trying to work through now is all these. And then also you got a new building with new compressors and new pumps and new fans and all this stuff. And so we're working through those hiccups. And kind of excitingly, the commission has agreed to allow us to add another part-time maintenance person to the department out there to help just maintain that facility. Because if we're going to spend $20 million of your public dollars, we want to make sure that building lasts for another 50 to 100 years. So some of the other exciting stuff, if I may, the sheriff's office this past year, Sheriff Glander and his team had over 12,000 calls for service. And that's a growth. It is. From the previous years, but the sheriff itself is working on increasing its capacity to be able to respond to calls, such as we were with a public effort, we were able to bring on a new canine, Derman. Derman's on the street now.
He's now out. Okay.
Yeah, he is now out. It takes 16 weeks of training between the officer, the deputy, and our canine. So they do a lot of one-on-one, and they just graduated here about 2 weeks ago, and he's on the street. So if you're out there, be sure that you're not doing anything bad, that we would use our canine on you. So, but now we have two canines. The department is also getting a command vehicle, and we're also getting something called a peacekeeper. And this command vehicle is basically it's something that we'd use at these large organizations for command purposes. It's like a big RV. We got that for $10,000, if you can believe that, which is great. And so it's another resource that the county will be able to use for remote dispatching or for just command post operations during an emergency. We also have a peacekeeper now. We got this for free. And so this is a piece of equipment that we would use for any type of potential raids. It's a beefed up Suburban with steel sides on the walls. And so it's pretty cool looking. We have yet to take possession of that asset, but that's coming our way here shortly.
All right. Well, Mike, we're running out of time. I mean, we've got seconds left, and there's lots to go through, but a big year for Becker County, lots going on. And, of course, people may be able to look at the state of this county address on the website, your county website as well.
Yeah, we'll also be putting it on YouTube as well, so people can watch that as we look forward into the new year. It's been a great year.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Brethorst from Becker County Administrator. You're listening to KDLM Detroit Lakes. It's 9 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Mass Mutual.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.